All right, so move on to the next segment. I'll be sharing my top 5 Conor McGregor victories in his MMA career inside the UFC world. So with Conor McGregor returning to the octagon in a few weeks when he will take on Michael Chandler in the main event of UFC 303, I thought we put together the greatest wins of Conor McGregor's UFC career. So I'll be ranking the victories from number 5 going all the way down to number 1. Starting off with number 5. It was Conor McGregor's win in the second fight against Nate Diaz in the year 2016 when he defeated him by decision. Now, it's really sad that Dana White and the rest of the UFC executives did not put together the trilogy of Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz, because there are 2 fights in the first fight and the second fight were really, really good. And I feel like we deserved a trilogy because both respective fighters split it one apiece. Nate, of course, winning the first fight by submission, then Conor winning the second fight by decision. Both fights were very entertaining. But the second fight, you've seen Conor McGregor avenge his loss to Nate Diaz, and with him going up to the welterweight division to fight Nate Diaz to avenge his loss was absolutely incredible. It was a great fight. Both fighters gave everything they had in this fight. It was a great striking affair between Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz. Both are strikers, and that's what they got made famous for the striking category, being MMA fighters. But I feel like that was one of Conor McGregor's biggest wins of his career, and one of my favorite fights of him. So I put that as number 5 as one of his best wins of all time. At number 4, I have his victory against Donald Cerrone by first round knockout in 2020. Now, this was Conor McGregor's return fight to the octagon. As you guys know, when he fought in 2018, he lost in the 4th round by Khabib, but by submission in that lightweight championship fight. He took 15 months off from the octagon, and he returned to fight the legend Donald Cerrone in 2020. And he earned the first round TKO victory. Only took him 40 seconds to finish an icon and a legend of Donald Cerrone, and showed me that in the striking department, Conor McGregor was back, and he didn't lose a step at the time. But I had to put that victory number 4 on my list. And number 3, I have his victory against Dustin Poirier in 2014, his KO victory. Now, at the time when Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier fought in 2014, Conor McGregor was on a 3-fight winning streak. And he fought Dustin Poirier, who was the 5th-ranked fighter at the featherweight division at the time. And in their first fight, Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier, Conor McGregor caught Dustin Poirier with a vicious left hook 2 minutes into the first round of this fight, after calling for a first round knockout victory leading up to the fight against Dustin Poirier. Now, of course, we all know the trilogy history between Conor McGregor and Dustin Poirier. It was Conor McGregor who only won the first fight, but then it was Dustin Poirier who ended up winning 2 out of the 3 in the trilogy. And it didn't go his way. Conor McGregor lost his second fight by knockout in 2021 in January. Then in June, the summer of 2021, he lost that fight by Dustin Poirier by a stoppage, his leg and ankle snap. And that was obviously the last time we've seen Conor McGregor in the octagon. But I had to put that victory, number 3, against Dustin Poirier on my list. Now, number 2, I have his victory against Jose Aldo, the knockout victory in 2015. Now, Conor McGregor accomplished the unthinkable here. Only took him 13 seconds to defeat Jose Aldo, who arguably is the greatest featherweight champion of all time and one of the greatest UFC champions of all time. At the time, he broke Ronda Rousey's record for the quickest finish in UFC history at the time, finishing Jose Aldo in a matter of 13 seconds. And even though the featherweight title reign wasn't special for Conor McGregor, off the top of my head, I might be wrong. I don't believe he ever had a title defense with the featherweight title. But that victory to defeat a legend who had a vice grip on that featherweight division and a vice grip on that title for years, to only take 13 seconds to take him out and win the title, that has to be the second best victory on my list. Now, number 1 The best Conor McGregor victory of his UFC career was his TKO victory against Eddie Alvarez in 2016. I feel like this victory helped Conor McGregor become one of the most popular, one of the most polarizing figures in combat sports today. His victory against Eddie Alvarez in 2016 helped him become a big time star. He made his debut at Madison Square Garden, something that he was dying to do at the time in the UFC, and he did not miss when he finally debuted at the Garden. He put on an absolute spectacular performance against Eddie Alvarez, become the new lightweight champion in the UFC. And he dominated Eddie Alvarez several times in this. He dominated him in this fight, landing several combinations in the striking department, stopped him, and became the first ever double champion in UFC history, holding the lightweight championship and the featherweight title at the same time. Great to see Conor McGregor on top of the world at that time and moment. And we all know what happened next. He got in the boxing ring with Floyd Mayweather. The rest is history with Conor McGregor. But those are my top 5 victories of Conor McGregor's UFC career.